What is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're hopping into the new arena over here on the Japanese side of the game, taking on the new arena Crocodile. So with the release of arena Crocodile has over on the Japanese side of the game, I do have 4 teams for you guys to actually take this particular event down, and in today's video we will be taking a look at not only what the character does but what the content actually does. And honestly, this particular piece of content was very annoying like when I was first looking at it, but the more I sort of got to know it, like, the easier it sort of became. But let's take a quick look at what the Croc does before we hop into the content. The Croc is an int-based captain, 3.25, driven and striker characters HP by 1.5 as well. So, I think he's like, what, an attack booster for 3.25. There's a comma there, so then he gives driven and striker characters 1.5 HP as well. So if you build like an int-driven striker team, you're going to get a lot of HP, a lot of attack. Pretty good for a free-to-play unit. 3.25 isn't too bad. His special cuts 10% of all HP of all enemies, reduces 7 turns of chain coefficient reduction and blindness, inflicts all enemies with poison, inflicts 1 enemy with strong poison, which is 300 times his attack. For 1 turn, boost the color affinity of normal attacks of int characters by 2 times, and if the captain is an int character, then for 1 turn, int characters will treat strength, dex, quick, and psi orbs as beneficial. So he's not that amazing compared to some of the arena characters that we have seen as of late, but nevertheless, he is like, what, he's a 2 times color affinity booster, so I guess there's that. But I think there's another Croc that's already a 2 times color affinity for int as well. So, look, I don't know how amazing this guy's actually going to be in regular play, but the fact he does poison does mean that he can be used with Reiju, which is going to be really, really nice, and the whole driven striker thing, he's going to work with 6-star Yamato as well. He keeps his in order if you hit a perfect as a sailor, and he gives 40 attack, HP, and recovery to the crew. He has critical hit, he has enrage, as well as orb seal, and then he just has stats as his support. So that's basically what the character does. As I mentioned, guys, I do have 4 teams for you guys in today's video to take down this new arena. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so the first team utilizes a Sabo as our captain with a friend Boa. So this is the team, these are the supports. Let's dive in. Alright, so over here on the Daz Bones stage, and on stage 3, I sort of just spaced a little bit there, so apologies that the commentary came in a little bit late. On the first turn, as you guys saw there, he puts up damage null and defense up. Now, this particular stage is really, really annoying. As you can see on the second turn, we actually get paralysis. Now, you can use the Aura Jackson special here to actually take out the paralysis, but you can also just stall a turn, so don't stress. You can use the Liberal Hind if you really want to. But ideally, on this particular stage, you want to make sure that you are in the Ace variation before you move on to the next stage. Very important that you are actually in Ace, as we are going to get despaired on the next turn, and we do need to make sure that we are Ace to actually get around that first. So the only thing about Daz Bones is he puts up 1 turn of damage reduction, sorry, defense up and damage null. And I just couldn't be bothered finding a way around that. But let's move on to the next stage now against Robin. Robin's really annoying because she gives us despair and then she binds our right hand side. So make sure that Magellan's on the left side so you can remove the binds. And thanks to Ace, we can actually get around the despair. We're also going to use the SobaMask special here to get around the block orbs, as well as get ourselves an attack boost. Now, this particular stage against Robin is really, really annoying, as she not only has a bunch of mob enemies in the front, but she also only lets us do 3.5 million damage every single turn. On the end of the second turn, she's actually going to captain swap us, and for this particular team to function the way it does, you really just want like anyone to become your captain that isn't killer. You could probably just sit around here and stall it out thanks to the Mera ability of Boa as your friend captain. But look, that's just no fun, and no one really wants to hang around on this particular stage forever. It's bad enough we actually have to hang around here for 3 turns regardless. But if you do get like Killer as your captain, you can easily just close the game and reopen it, as the 3 times captain ability Killer just may be a little bit too low. Thankfully for us, we have Magellan become our captain. Magellan is a 5 times leader, which is really, really nice. And as a captain, Magellan's actually going to get around paralysis as well. So he has a super typing too, which is really, really cool. But we're not going to use that right now because we just want to get rid of Robin and move on to the next stage. On the final stage, we come up against Croc. Now, against Croc, he does a bunch of different shenanigans. He gives us 6 turns of attack down, 6 turns of Sailor Despair on our sailors. Sorry, 6 turns of Special Bind on our sailors, and he becomes a strength unit. He also gives us 10 turns of the attack down as long as depending on your chain lock, and that's why Boa is just so good for this, because just utilizing the Boa special, we can literally get around all of the nasty effects that include the attack down, the special bind, and that annoying debuff that lets us do less damage because she becomes a 3.5 times chain lock as well. On this particular stage against Croc 2, you guys can't use any color affinity boosters, so if you are thinking about bringing a color affinity booster, make sure that it's in the form of something like a support, a switch ability, or a verse ability, or a super typing. Any of those will not trigger the interrupt from the enemy, and with this particular team, we have a Sabo to actually get around that, which is really, really nice. So Boa's going to do her thing, give us all those nice juicy buffs. We can then use the super switch of a Sabo. A Sabo are going to give us a full board of orbs, as well as give us a nice chunky 2.5 times orb boost, and then we have a massive attack boost with Luffy as well. Luffy's pretty much replaceable on this team if you really want to, though, because as you guys can see, we actually have an attack boost with SobaMask as well, and that way you could probably just like replace Luffy. But Luffy's a great captain as well. There is no what's it called? There is no like double damage. Sorry, there is no full immunity, so you could easily put Kaido there instead of Luffy and get like double damage and do even more damage. And that way, probably the killer strat will actually work. But nevertheless, for me, like I just sort of rocked with what I had, and as you guys can see there, like we just do like 70 million literally just with Luffy. So a lot of damage. So this team shouldn't struggle. The only downside is that because we have Killer to remove the paralysis, it may be a little bit of a hindrance for you guys, as you will have to reload the game if Killer is your captain. But like I said, if you bring Kaido over Luffy, you could probably like do it with Killer as the captain. Who knows? But let's move on to the next team now. Moving on to the second team now, we are utilizing SobaMask as our captain with a friend, Vivi. So huge shout out to my boy Sim. We were in voice chat in the Discord. Make sure to come join the Discord if you guys are looking for some fun. A lot of cool people over there and a lot of like-minded people. So come join the Discord if you guys are looking for some help and stuff like that. The link will be in the description. And while you guys are down there, don't forget to smash the like button. And if you are new, hit that big juicy join button as well. But shout out to my boy Sim, the world's biggest Vivi simp. We were on voice chat and we did put this particular team together. It's like the trifecta for Sim. He's a huge Sanji fan, he's a huge Vivi fan. We actually put this team together and actually like just scraped in with the damage. Bit of a side note though, if you guys bring a friend, a Sabo, it just does it way better. That way you don't need the support of Mr. 3 and you don't need the support of that treasure map Vivi. But this was the team, these are the supports, let's dive in. Alright, so once again, we're over here on stage 3 against Mr. 1. Now, Mr. 1 puts up 1 turn of defense up and damage null. And unfortunately, we are just going to have to hang around on this stage, basically, until that goes away. We do have the support of Mr. 3 here, and the good thing about Mr. 3 is we can actually sort of tank some more damage. As I mentioned, if you bring a Sabo as a friend captain, you can actually like get some healing back with their perfects, and that way you don't have to worry about the Mr. 3 support. But on the second turn, we are going to remove the paralysis with the Oro Jackson. Now, I was thinking about it too. The last two teams, the first two teams you see in this video are all global friendly. And moving forward on my Japan account, I will try and make at least one global friendly team, as I don't have all the free-to-play characters on Japan, but at least that way if I'm using global characters, it's like giving you guys like 4 months of like previous prep. And like I said, if you bring a Sabo on this particular team as a friend captain, it is completely global friendly. But as you guys saw there, we have the Germa support. Germa support on this particular team is really, really nice, because that way we get the 4.25 captain ability from our boy SobaMask. And with that, we should just be able to get scraping the damage against Daz here. Beautiful. Nope. Okay, we can't. We're meant to use the Vivi. We're meant to use the Vivi super typing there. Fuck. We're going to roll with it just because I want to. But ideally, you wanted to use the Vivi super typing there. That way, you could actually take out Dazbone in one turn. On the next turn, we come up against Nico, Robin, and her lackeys. They give themselves that annoying debuff where you can only do 3.5 mil. They bind our right-hand side and despair our left. Well, our captains, I should say. They also give us a full board of block orbs, and this is where we really want to make sure that we have the versatility of our verse ace ready to go. He's going to give us a full board of strength orbs, and thanks to Bonnie, we can get an attack boost to our quick units. And with that, we should just be able to take out this particular stage easy peasy. Except for the fact that we can't do more than 3.5 million damage against Robin. The only character on this particular team that has pinch healing is Bonnie as well. So just be mindful of that, as you may actually need Bonnie's pinch healing to keep yourself alive. On the second turn, you want to make sure that you use the SobaMask jump. Ideally, with the SobaMask jump, you can get around the captain swap. Otherwise, you may get lucky and Ace may become your captain. And as you can see there, the burn's just shy of actually taking out Robin. And we just have enough HP to actually tank that shot. Thanks to our supports and our cotton candy. But as I mentioned, if you have a Sabo as your friend captain, you will do this a lot nicer. And even with me like blundering the Vivi, like not using the Vivi super typing, we still managed to actually get to this particular point, which I'm really happy with because I really don't want to run this content again. On the final stage against Croc, he gives us 6 turns of attack down, as well as 5 turns of paralysis and 6 turns of special blind. Vivi gets around the special blind, and thanks to Jozu, we can actually get around 2 turns of attack down. Because we've kept those strength orbs, thanks to the orb block, we can get an orb boost from Ace for our free spirit and shooters, as well as a chain lock, which is really, really nice. Then we can actually increase that orb boost thanks to Vivi. We can remove the attack down with Bobbins. We can remove the paralysis with Chiffon. And then finally, we can finish it off with the SobaMask special. Now, ideally, you want to use the SobaMask special last. That way, you can give yourselves a full board of T&D orbs just for a little bit more damage. I could have used the Vivi super typing there to get just that little bit extra damage because she's a 2 times attack booster instead of a 1.75. But I did want to actually showcase this particular team, how it was intentionally meant to be run. And as you can see there, we just hit over the 50 mil HP threshold that Croc has, and we can actually easy take him out. So it was a lot of fun actually using SobaMask, and once again, big shout out to my boy Sim, the biggest Vivi sim in the entire world, for the help with team building. But like I said, if you just bring a friend a Sabo, it's actually just way easier. So, sorry Sim, but it just is. Let's move on to the next team now. Moving on to team number 3 now, we are utilizing a hybrid Yamato with the Pirate King Gold D Roger. So this is the team, these are the supports, let's dive in. Alright, stage 3, once again, we come up against Mr. 1, who has the 1 turn of defense up and 1 turn of damage null. And as I mentioned at the start, I just couldn't be bothered finding a way actually to get around this. Like, I just couldn't be bothered. I'd rather take the shot. I do feel like that he was designed here for, like, Boa, so that way you can, like, cop the shot and get the mirror ability off. But it's just such an arrogant stage, and I'm not a big fan of it at all. But look, it is what it is. So on the second turn, he is going to paralyze us, and for 1 turn. And then he's going to give us a full board of unfavorable slots. So what we can do here is we can actually just switch with our girls, give ourselves some healing, and then we can just sort of rotate the orbs. Now, I do have the support of the Kuja Pirates on my Kaku, but it's not essential at all. Like, you're probably better off with, like, a stat booster. I literally just put her there so we could get an orb, but turns out that the strength orbs are actually matching anyway for this particular team. So, like, it's really not going to change too much. Once we remove the paralysis, we can sort of just take out Daz. If we hit my perfects and I had color affinity, we would have been fine, but like we didn't because I'm a spoon, and it is what it is. So we're just gonna take him out on this particular turn. Good job, Stump. You're doing good there, kid. Keep it up. Beautiful. So Daz is down. We're gonna move on to the next turn against Nico Robin. Now against Nico Robin and her lackeys, they're going to bind our right-hand side, and they're going to give us to spare. But thanks to Yamato and Roger, we can actually get around that. It works really, really nicely. They also give us a full board of block orbs, and they actually lock those block orbs as well for 3 turns. So this is where we're actually going to use our girl Yamato special. Thanks to the orb lock, we can actually just sort of keep the Wano orbs for the rest of the fight. It means we're going to do a lot more damage. We can switch with our Shirohoshi Mancherry and Vivi Rebecca, and that way we can get some more damage output as well. But thanks to the super typing of Yamato as well, we don't really need to per se. We get that chain multiplier buff, and then we can actually just do heaps of damage to Robin there. Ideally, when you move into the next, like the final turn, you want to make sure that you can switch into the quick variations of Shirohoshi Mancherry and Vivi and Rebecca anyway. So on the second turn, we're going to switch with them so we can deal with that. And then we're going to use our Germa special. After the second turn, you need to remember that Nico Robin actually does a captain swap. So that's why we want to use the Germa special now. That way, we're not actually going to cop that nasty captain swap. And thanks to Germa being super effective against all types, we can actually do a lot of damage here. Get Nico Robin down to that 7 million mark, and then we can take her out on the third turn. It's super annoying that we can't take her out here. I do imagine there is a way that you could probably do it with something like Reiju Poison. I'm not sure if there's something you can do with like Versa Kainu. As you guys saw in the first team, we did try the Versace Burn Strat, but like it just wasn't enough damage to take out Robin. And unfortunately, we do have to cop that captain swap. But thanks to Germa, we can actually get around it because she can't captain swap us after that. On the final turn against Croc, we're going to cop that 5 turns paralysis, 6 turns of special bind on our crew, as well as 6 turns of attack down. But we have Luffy on our Yamato to actually give us 1 turn of attack down removal. Before we do anything here, we want to make sure that we actually use our Roger special. That way we get a much higher attack boost than our Vivi Rebecca's attack boost. But thanks to Vivi Rebecca, we can actually give ourselves a 2 times orb boost to our Cerebrals and our Striker characters, which this whole team is, besides Germa and Goldie Roger. Finally, we can finish it off with Shirahoshi Mancherry, and then we can remove the attack down with Kaku. I think Kaku removes paralysis as well, so you could probably do something like that and then replace Shirahoshi Mancherry. But as you guys will see here, thanks to the support of Ace as well, we should have plenty of damage to actually take out our boy Croc. Easy peasy. So the dream team of Yamato and Roger works an absolute treat. We do struggle a little bit on that Daz stage, as we do need to take an extra turn there. But like I said, I'm pretty sure that Kaku actually removes paralysis as well off the top of my head. I think it's 5 turns of paralysis. So you could probably replace V2 Shirashari with something else. And that way just like get something to actually just help take that down that stage. But let's move on to the final team now, the big old Quaylen team, and wrap the video up. And the final team of the video is utilizing a hybrid Perona and Boa team. So these are the team, these are the supports. Let's dive in. And for the final time, we come up against Mr. 1. Now, Mr. 1 puts up that 1 turn of defense up and damage null. Again, this particular stage is just so annoying. But like I said, it's pretty much made for this particular ability of Boa, getting the 7 turns of the Mero. So once we sort of pass the first turn against Mr. Daz Bones, we should be able to remove the paralysis with our Aura Jackson special. But I've actually just moved too quickly for this content. I'm actually just so over this content. I've been recording this video for way too long, and it's just sort of starting to get to me a little bit now. But once the paralysis is gone, we can actually start doing some damage against our boy Daz. Just remember that Carrot's not actually getting boosted by Perona, so you're not really going to do too much damage with her, even though she does have color affinity. Daz is going to attack us, and then once he attacks us, he's going to basically turn the recovery orbs into no healing. They not no healing, like it just does damage instead of healing, so it's kind of like worse than no healing. But we can easily just take him out on the second turn, and that way we can move on to the next stage against Nico, Robin, and the 2 lackeys. Now against Nico, Robin, and the lackeys, they put up Despair, Bind, and they give us a full board of block orbs. They also lock those block orbs to 3 turns, and we all, like I've said, we're always going to have to hang around 3 turns here, which is very, very annoying. But at the end of the day, look, it is what it is. We can use the Perona special here to give ourselves 3 turns of a chain lock. We set the defense to 0. We get a conditional boost against the defense down, which is really, really nice. And basically, we're just going to take this entire stage out. Besides Robin, who, like I said, you guys have to take 3 turns on her no matter what. But if you guys do know any strats to get around her, like Reiju Poison might work. Kainu versus Kainu might be an option too. But we did try it with the Burn of the Verse Ace, and it did just fall a little bit short. So on the second turn, we're going to use the Carrot special. Carrot is going to become our captain that way. She does stay captain for 3 turns, and that way she's actually just like boosting everyone. But you could easily use her special on the, on the first turn. So that way you get your Perona back, and you can apply the negative ability. And that's probably what I was meant to do. And God forbid if I have to record this video again. Like, I'm going to be mad. But nevertheless, it's what we do, right? On the final stage, we come up against Croc. He gives us 5 turns of paralysis. Gives our Sailor's special bind. He gives 6 turns of attack down, and he gives us that annoying debuff where you have to use a chain lock, otherwise you won't do any damage. So Boa's an absolute weapon here. Boa can just get around basically everything, which is really nice besides paralysis. But that's why we have our girl Shirahoshi. Okay, so Perona became our captain again, which is really, really nice. That way we can actually get the negative ability off, which is awesome. And then we have the super typing of Boa as well. We also have the support of Ace for some color affinity, as you cannot use a color affinity booster on this particular stage, so just be mindful of that. If you do, Croc does have an interrupt, and it is really, really annoying. But once we've done that, we should just be able to take him out, easy peasy. And there you guys go. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!